Hey guys, welcome back to another update on the Unimog project. Now, I've been making a good bit of progress on this over the last handful of days since the last update. Now, last night I spent a ton of time down here till 3 a.m. finishing up the majority of the cage work. At this time now, that body is setting on there nice and solid, very sturdy, and most of the tube work is done. The remaining work is going to be adding tabs for panel mounting, bed mounting, any electronics trays that I want to hide underneath, as well as some provisions for mounting the interior and other accessories that'll come along the way. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of look of what we've got going on, as well as some of the upgrades that I have installed since the last video as well. As far as the actual chassis work, I came in and added a handful of braces to make sure everything was nice and stiff. I made sure to add my shock mounting tabs in the rear, which were needed because before I just had those zip tied on. I braced up the shock towers. Since I'm only using 1/8 inch rod, you do need to use a pretty decent amount of bracing to make sure nothing is going to bend or shift. Now, I also went ahead and figured out how I was going to mount this entire system to the chassis rails. I've got 2 here, 2 in the rear, and then 1 up front in the shock towers. That ties in that front cage with this part of the cage and then to the rear. And then of course the same thing on the other side. So that's 10 total screws that hold this whole chassis onto the Vaterra Ascender base. Now, as far as what I've got for the body here, right now it just lifts off. You can see I've got kind of a double B-pillar setup going here. And what that is that's so that the body slides down between, but then I have an interior cage section to help support the body, and then of course all of the structure that lies underneath of that body. Now I do plan on adding a windshield mounted rigid light bar from Vanquish. But I don't like to just screw those into Lexan. I don't think that's a very good way to go about things in a long-term manner. So what I will do is I'll add tabs off of this interior cage that will actually come through the side of the windshield area on that Lexan body, and then after the body's on, you'll mount the light bar. Now that does make it a process to remove the body, but hopefully the way that I build this, the body will not have to be removable or removed very often. Hopefully I'm able to service everything I need on a typical day without doing that, such as battery changes or anything like that. Now you can see a couple of pieces of paper basically sitting here on the chassis. What I use is some graph paper basically to start planning out my panels. It's very easy to use graph paper to kind of lay things out, mark where they need to be cut them, fold them, whatever you need to do to make sure that the panels are going to lay about in the areas that you're really looking for. The rear bed area is going to be basically a flat panel. I was going to kind of drop it down, but in the end I don't think that that's really going to be necessary. I do plan to add some panels along the sides of this rear flatbed area to just kind of clean things up and hide what you see underneath of there. In the front here, you will see the beginning of my interior design. Now, for the interior, it is going to be very basic. I want to try and just get a pretty minimal look. Basic floors, dash, seats, just the basics in there. Not trying to go overboard with the detail on the interior of this truck in particular. Now, again, this is a graph paper base that I started with. I kind of do these in stages. I started with just a simple straight piece that I folded a handful of times, and then when I do that, I place it in the truck and then I add notes to it where I would like to extend or change the design a little bit. From there, I'll go on to a second revision, and then again just keep going and going and going until I get something closer to what I want. Later I can add more pieces, even if they have to be bent at different angles, and then tape them on, and then fold one piece of paper flat down, trace the entire pattern out, and then when I'm all done, I'll transfer that to my aluminum sheeting, and that's what I'll make the actual interior out of. I also made a front bumper. This is made out of 2 pieces of 16 gauge steel, a flat top piece and then a curved front piece that I just TIG welded along the edge as I bent it around slowly. And then added mounting tabs underneath of that, and that's how this bumper came about. Pretty simple right now. It will still get a grill hoop or some sort of brush guard stinger type thing for scale points. Any sort of stinger or grill guard gives you 1 more scale point, so I would like to get that because I do want to try and max out this truck with 60 scale points. And once I get further along this truck, I'll kind of go over how all of that works. for a winch and things like that on this car, that's going to be hidden underneath of the body. It won't be exposed on the front bumper. I'll probably use a servo winch on this particular car. That's the bulk of the fabrication work that I've done on this thing. Another thing that I want to touch on is the brand new set of links that I've installed. Now, these links are from RC 4x4 Performance, and they're a full set of stainless links specifically designed for the Vaterra Ascender. Now, this is the 302 millimeter wheelbase that I'm using on this car. Again, the Vaterra is designed to use multiple wheelbases, all designed to come in the kit with that one link set by adding spacers and things like that. I've got the chassis set at the second position in, and then I had the links made to suit that length. Now, this is, again, a full set of stainless links, 4 link in the rear, 3 link in the front, and it also included my panhard, tie rod, and drag link. Right now, my drag link is not installed because I need to get a new servo horn installed on this car. But right now, everything is cycling great, very smooth, and the nice addition of those Revo rod ends gets rid of that spacer type setup that they used with those long 3 millimeter screws. While that works very well for the intended purpose of suiting any body with the Vaterra Ascender kit, for me, I'm pretty much going with a single design here. So there was no need for me to stay with that link design. That's where we're kind of going for now. There's a few little things left. Again, I have a lot of panel work and things to deal with. I do probably plan on mounting a spare tire. I'm not normally a big spare tire person. I just don't normally get into that whole look. But with this Unimog, for some reason, I'm just really kind of wanting to add one, which is odd for me. And I think it's going to go kind of back here in the rear area, just kind of sitting in that particular spot. Normally spare tires look so big and out of place on a car that I don't normally care for them, but back here it just kind of seems to fit, and for some reason that's got me thinking that that's what I need to do on this car. But we'll see. Could change my mind, but overall I think it looks pretty decent. So lots of finishing work to do, but this car's come together pretty quickly, so I'm pretty happy with it so far, and we'll kind of see how it goes. I think it could be a pretty capable rig when it's all said and done. But without going on any further, that's where we're at. I thought I'd shoot you guys an update, and hopefully you guys are enjoying this build. I'm having a lot of fun working on it, and really looking forward to running this new Ascender. With all that, we'll see you guys on the next one.